You're listening to a Weeby Geeks Network podcast.
The Dining at Disney podcast. The Dining at Disney podcast. Your ultimate source about the wonderful world of dining at the Disneyland and Walt Disney World resorts.
If you are what you eat, then I only want to eat the good stuff.
Kristen Hetzel-Go and Jay Bratton are your guides on this culinary adventure.
We'll prepare and serve with flair a culinary cabaret.
Join them as they discuss the latest food news, expert tips, recommendations, and trip planning advice related to Disney food and dining. From quick service to fine dining, you will discover all the best restaurants and food as they hungrily explore the Disney parks.
It brings folks together from all walks of life.
The Dining at Disney podcast. And now, your host, Kristen Hetzel-Go and Jay Bratton.
Welcome to another episode of the Dining at Disney podcast. It's your ultimate source for delicious discussion about dining at Disney World and Disneyland. I'm your host. In for Jay today is my dear friend, Tony Casanova from Disney by the Numbers and Disney Parks podcast.
And I am not Jay.
Yes.
I am not Jay. No, do I pretend to be?
A little paler and a little shorter than Jay is.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Today we've got some Disney news coming from Disneyland and Disney World. One of them includes the increase in tables in Wonderland, which is not just one of the many things that Disney increased this week, but we'll be talking a little bit about that. And then Tony had a very special, intimate dining experience over at Plancha, which is at Four Seasons Orlando. So we'll be talking about that.
Courtesy of Krista. Courtesy of you.
Yes. But
I did just not wander aimlessly into the restaurant.
Well, see, that's one of the things that you do to help out dining at Disney is as a contributor, you send me great photos, and then whatever experience I can't attend down there that involves food, I send you off to do. I mean, what a difficult job you have. Well, before we get into all of our discussions for today, I want to thank you for downloading the show on iTunes, streaming on Stitcher, as well as watching the webcast on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe to our feeds, and don't be afraid to share this with your friends. Okay, so now on to the appetizers. Tony, I'm going to let you kick off with the news for me.
With the Rainforest Cafe.
Yes.
All right. So Rainforest Cafe Aloha Adventure Menu at Disneyland Resort. I forgot that they even had a Rainforest Cafe out there.
That's because it's all the way at the far end, as far away as you can get to the parks. It's like right before ESPN and the Disneyland Hotel.
I don't know. I don't go there. There's plenty of other better places to eat than Rainforest Cafe. But if you must insist on going, they have a Aloha Adventure Paradise combo. It's a taste of the islands. If you have the Aloha spirit, not like me, then lots of recent opportunities to express it. So back in August, it was the Tahitian Terrace Diamond Luau. So now coming October 12th and 13th, that's right around the corner. That's next week. There's the Malawini. And I think they do a whole big special thing for that at Disneyland, right? Do. Yeah. I would think they would do that at the Polynesian. They do nothing.
You would think there would be a lot more interesting, cool things like that going on. Yeah. But they don't. I feel like at Disney World, we get left out of so much cool special events.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they make a whole big deal of this Malawini at Disneyland. So now they're involving the Rainforest Cafe. So the third option has been announced at the Rainforest Cafe at downtown Disney in Anaheim, the Disneyland Resort. For a limited time, they are featuring the Aloha Adventure menu. So it will have a total of 9 different island-inspired dishes, including a couple of appetizers. Yummy, yummy. The first is the Ai Poke Tower. And who doesn't like that? Come on. Big piece of
Oh, I
Raw
know.
stuff.
Tuna.
So the eye tuna mixed with spicy soy and sesame stacked atop avocado and tomatoes. And we had something like that at Plancha. On the side will be wonton chips and wasabi aioli. Second is the awesome appetizer adventure that contains a sampling of the island favorites for everyone to share. Next up, we have the Taste of the Islands, and it's the feature of the Aloha Adventure menu. For your main course, they have a sizzling luau platter. I haven't had one of those in a very long time. I don't know. Makes me want to now go have one. All right. A Maui meatloaf. Somebody it's got to be just pineapples in the meatloaf or something crazy like that, right?
Yeah, and see, no.
No?
No. I don't really like meatloaf to begin with.
Uh-huh. I do.
And so, yeah, pineapples in it isn't good.
I don't know.
Filipinos put like pieces of hot dogs and raisins in there.
Okay, no.
And that,
No.
no.
No. Then they have the grilled mai. That's typical Disney stuff. They put mai on everything. Taro chips and a paradise combo. The jungle steak and shrimp. That sounds delicious. Taste of the Islands, as well as the rib steak and shrimp trio. And the selections are enough to satisfy any surfer and hula dancer. So then it goes on to say that there's also a number of alcoholic beverages, and you got to wash all this stuff down, right? You can't just eat dry meatloaf and then have nothing, right?
No.
So you need something to wash it all down. So imagine yourself sitting on the Waikiki beach, sipping some tiki punch. This is a concoction of ruby red grapefruit, vodka, what's that, cruising coconut rum, mixed with tropical juices, and to add a little more to the feeling, get this drink served with the Rainforest Tiki Cup. I'm sure that's an extra charge. Other cocktails include the Mongoose Mai Tai, the Cheetah Rita, and the Canopy Tea. That sounds pretty good.
I think so, too.
Would you try that? Would you do it?
I would try the
and do
luau
they say
platter.
what the pricing is? That's the other $1 million question.
Yeah, and see, of course, in Nashville here, we have a Rainforest Cafe.
Right.
So it's very, very rare that I will go and eat at the Rainforest Cafe when I'm at Disney World, because it's the same menu as it is here. Every now and then I'll go and do, maybe like I've gone with Natalie and we've just shared a meal and then had something, later to eat. And it just gives me something to photograph, and I can go and see, how the restaurant is performing or what have you. But I'm not big on it. I think, the food is overpriced for what it is.
Yeah. It's, you lump them all into like the TGI Fridays, the Applebee's, the Olive Garden. It's all, mass produced, food, and it all tastes the same at some point. Yeah.
And there's so many other fantastic dining options. Why, if you have kids, that is definitely a perfect restaurant for kids, because it's entertaining. They can sit there and watch the animals and all the little, show that the restaurant does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it makes it fun for kids, but
yeah, not for adults.
Okay, so I've got some news that has to do with Disney World, and this was just released the other day, and it's the ganachery is coming to Disney Springs. So for those people who are chocolate lovers, there's going to be a new candy shop that's opening in the Landing, and they're going to have daily freshly made ganache. And for those not familiar with ganache, it's a mixture of chocolate and cream, and it's really good. Wow.
I stopped doing that. They can't put that store in there. I'll gain like 400 pounds.
They're gonna have an onstage kitchen, which is cool. So you get to see them make it there. Yeah. And then they're gonna do a variety of different flavors. Some of them that the Disney Parks blog mentioned was a dark chocolate that's gonna be 65% custom blend. Hazelnut. There's a chipotle, which is going to be on my list of must try because I like spicy food. And then they're also going to have a variety of other custom blend flavors that'll have the finest spices included in those. So,
yeah. The one thing they didn't mention is, where is this going to be located?
I don't know. They're running out of space in the landing.
Yeah, well, available space right now. So it would be by the boathouse, Asia somewhere, maybe around the corner from where the gelato place is. I don't know. We'll have to see.
That'll be a lot of sweets in that little area because you also have Aaron McKenna's bakery there. Right.
Yeah. Be interesting. It's if you haven't. Well, when you come down soon, you'll get to see all the mayhem that's going there. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I can't imagine. Now I do have Morimoto's booked. Like on the 16th, I went and used Open Table and booked something because I was like, that I have to try.
I was there opening night. That's how I went. I did the same thing you did. Oh, book reservations? Opening night?
Oh.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And Morimoto was there. You'll probably see him still. We've heard that he's going to stick around for a while.
I hope so. Yeah. I would be really it would be very exciting for me to meet Morimoto. I mean, I watched him when he was doing the original Iron Chef.
Yep.
So
I know. I didn't take it. I'm not an autograph or picture person. I just like talking to them and then just walking around. Walking away with that experience. That I spoke to him. I got to meet him. I got to talk to him, and then I should probably take pictures. But everybody does it, and then I don't know. Looks like he's like all right, enough with the pictures already. Just sit down and eat the food.
Now, see, the last thing I ask for is the photo, and the reason being is, I do have a food blog after all, So when it comes to that, I will. But it's very, living in Nashville, there's all kinds of, we've got movie stars, music stars, all that kind of stuff here. And nobody bothers them, which is why they like it here. I mean, Johnny Depp even has a house. You can see him walking through the mall without security, So it's
so I won't ruin anything and tell you anything about it, or
that's good because I am very excited and cannot wait.
If you need a dining partner, call me.
Do you want to be added to the list? I can add you.
Don't change your reservation, but maybe I'll show up.
Okay, the reservation's already made for 3, so if you want to be a 4th,
so. I'll come. I love the place.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay, but before we, get too carried away about talking about places we love to eat, I do want to mention that Joffrey's has a few things going on for the Food and Wine Festival. They do have specialty coffee, so if you have, they've created a specialty beverage just for food and wine, so you can go and get your little book stamped, one of the little locations, and try their beverage. They're also doing what's called Master of the Roast Journey to the Perfect Cup Experience. You'll see real coffee trees. There's their famous San Franciscan, I have a problem saying that, roaster. So you can learn about sourcing, roasting, and brewing of their great coffees. These demonstrations take place on the weekend, so Saturday and Sunday at 12, 1, 2:30, and 3:30. And it takes place, weather permitting. Again, you never know what you're going to get in Florida, but it's going to be by Ellen's Energy Adventure. So make sure to check that out. And speaking of Joffrey's, I have a contest going on right now. So you can enter to win. And you can, since you're only a contributor, you can enter to win, Tony.
I love prizes.
The Joffrey's Coffee Trio. So you'll get 3 1-pound bags of Joffrey's coffee. It's really easy to enter. Just go to the Dining at Disney website and you'll see the link there. I mean, it just involves like Twitter and Facebook. So come on, it's easy, guys. I mean, what an easy way to win. So let me ask this question.
Do they make a Keurig pod Joffrey's coffee?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. I don't remember seeing that on their site.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah. Like, that's a whole nother story.
I don't know,
I'm
but
a coffee addict. I'm a coffee addict, and my Keurig 2.0 is on the fritz. So I actually have a second one that I just recently bought. So as soon as that one dies, it has its replacement.
Well,
That's how bluntly I can't do without my coffee.
Now, see, I have to have coffee. Otherwise, I'm like a zombie like that in the morning, and that does no good. So I used to work for Tivana, and when I did, right after I started working there, they were bought by Starbucks.
Right.
And when they were bought by Starbucks, that meant you got the Starbucks benefits. And one of those was each week you could choose from a select variety of things to get for free.
Yeah.
And one of them was a pound of coffee.
Right.
I worked there for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells you how many pounds of coffee I had.
Wow.
And at the end of this year, I'm going to be out. And it will have taken me 2 years to drink all those. I mean, think how many weeks there are in a year.
Yeah.
I had bags and bags and bags of coffee.
Wow.
So I'm down to like, I think 6 bags now.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
Starbucks is one of the better companies to work for. I think they'll even pay for your tuition.
They do. Starbucks themselves is a great the company to work for. They do have high employee satisfaction ratings, so that's always good. Yeah. But I hate to say it, I do prefer Joffrey's to Starbucks because a lot of the Starbucks coffees have a little bit of like a bitter aftertaste to it.
Yeah, right.
And
it's the bean they use.
Does it? Yeah. It's almost a little bit of a sweeter type coffee. So. Right. So I'm a little biased to Joffrey.
Yeah. So I'll just say this and then we can move on. I'm a peppermint mocha fanatic. So I've gone on Amazon and I have the Torino peppermint and I have the Torino chocolate and I make my own peppermint mocha every morning. That's how much of a peppermint mocha addict I am. And for people that don't know, you can order that year round at Starbucks. Just ask for it and they'll make it. No questions asked. And something recently I just found out is they have some of those flavors in sugar-free. So if you have sugar problems, you can get a sugar-free peppermint mocha.
I did not know they did that.
Yes. Not all the flavors, but a good majority of them, they do have it sugar-free. Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was just like hazelnut, vanilla, and caramel that they had sugar-free.
Yeah.
Oh. That's good to know because Aljon always gets his coffee sugar-free. I'll have to let him know that.
Yep.
Okay, Tony. On to the big discussion of Tables in Wonderland. You ready?
I'm ready. All right. I'm going to start with saying this. For a while, I have a group on Facebook, and it was blowing up. Everybody was posting Tables in Wonderland's going away. It's going away. It's going away. Listen, this program is not going away. It's a moneymaker. Now it's even more of a moneymaker. So as of, I think it was yesterday, right? It was yesterday?
Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday, the 4th.
Yep. Tables in Wonderland raised the price to join this wonderful little club. So if you are a Florida resident, it will now cost you $175 a year. That is a 50% increase over the previous price. Then for annual pass holders, seasonal pass holders, and DVC members, it's only $150. Well, guess what, Disney? When I go to renew, I'm using my DVC entitlement, and I'm saving myself $25. I don't care if it does say Florida resident on it. I don't care. I want to save the money. And now I still think this is the same, but the second membership still will cost $50 more. So if it's a husband, spouse, but if you're always with your husband or with your spouse or your partner or whatever, I don't get why you need to pay the extra $50 and get the card. The other thing too, which I should mention is there's 2 types of cards. There's a paper card that you get at guest services. You can buy this at any guest services in any of the parks, Magic Kingdom, studios, whatever. But if you call and get it, they will send you a plastic credit card type of card, which lasts a lot longer. The RFID doesn't go bonkers. I believe also they changed some of the blackout dates. So be careful of that. I will say this. On opening night, Marimoto took tables in Wonderland. Opening night, right out of the gate. I was shocked.
Really nice.
Yeah. I gave the card to the server, and he's like, "What's that?" I said, "Just try and run it. Just swipe it and tell me what happens." He comes back. He goes, "What's that?" I said, "It's a discount card." I said, "It takes 18. It puts the 18% gratuity on. It takes the 20% off." I said, "Oh, I didn't know that." So anyway, I think they changed up some of the restaurants too. We know Victoria and Albert's left off the list, but there's also some other blackout dates for 1900 Park Fair, Chef Mickey's, Ohana, Cinderella's Royal Table, Le Chef France, Accouche's Royal Banquet Hall, and Le Cellier. So make sure you check the dates and you get them right, because there are some new blackout dates for those. So
I liked it better when it was just $75 for annual pass holders and no blackout dates. Victoria and Albert's was still on there.
Yeah.
Oh, Disney.
Yeah. I don't understand. I wrote to Tables in Wonderland and I wrote to guest relations and I said, you have to explain to me why the giant price increase. I don't get it. I mean, nothing's changed. I mean, I still have to pay for my food. I'm not getting anything extra for my extra dollars. I don't, it's confusing. So I don't think they're going to reply. They're probably going to just put it in the Casanova crazy file that they keep on me. I'm sure it's starting to grow. For my 5 years of living down here. Oh, Casanova sent us another email. Just put it in the file. But that's it. What do you think? I mean, you don't live here, so you don't get to use yours as much as I do. So will you renew?
I'm thinking not. I mean, okay, so I figured I'd have to spend $750.
Wow.
On food, drink, and of course, I factor in valet because now would I normally valet? No, but you know what? It's nice when I'm getting dressed up and we're going to be eating at, California Grill that in a dress and heels, I'm not walking all the way into the, all the way through the parking lot, through the, all that stuff in heels where I can just pull up, I get out of the car and somebody parks it for me.
Yeah. And you're not on a Disney bus. You don't have to take the Disney transportation on that special night that you go out or you're going out to one of the nicer restaurants. They were beta testing. I'm not sure if it's complete yet. The resort to resort buses at some of the signature restaurants from some of their hotels. I assume that's going to happen sooner rather than later. I think because a lot of people are doing that, is dining at the signature restaurants. So I don't know. I think they're trying to tell people, hey, stop coming here. We can't take any more.
They've set things up that trying to kind of, I guess, they've trained people to believe there will be, and this is people who are coming like vacation planners. Yeah. Coming that if I come between this date and this date, well, there's a really good chance I'm going to get free dining. And if I come between this date and this date, well, in the past, they've always had, up to 30% off. And people planning vacations around that. And then it's set up in such a way that those discounts are so limited, but those people have already booked. Yeah. And the prices keep going up. And they've set it up to where they really don't have much of a downtime. Right. And then on top of that, everything goes up. Because I mean, all passes just went up.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty high too. I think it was like 30%. But so here's the question, because I don't ever use the dining plan ever. I've always heard that when they offer the free dining plan, you're paying higher for the room. It's almost like rack rate for the room because they're giving you the dining for free. So, can you eat that much food? I don't know. Because the longest thing is, the room. You're staying there longer, you're probably going to pay more.
Now, whenever I figured this out for my clients, I've seen that value, free dining, even if you're paying to upgrade it, that's the way to go. I mean, value resorts have a limited discount. It's not normally very much. You have to kind of figure it out based on the number of days and on all of that kind of stuff, which is, I mean, as an agent, that's what I do. I figure out what is the better deal for my clients. Right. So with that, that's one thing. But I find when it comes to moderates, it can go either way. With deluxe, take the room discount and pay for it out of pocket because the discount's going to be larger than even if they were to give you deluxe dining for free, which they don't. They give you the basic. Yeah,
that's interesting. The last time I came down to Disney, it was buy 3 nights, get the 4th night free. I don't think they've ever done that promo. I think that was the last time they did, and that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, because the first trip Alton and I took together to Disney World was for our honeymoon, and that was the promo that was going on when we had our honeymoon. Yeah. And that was 12 years ago.
Yeah, that was a great promo.
And it's been either 9 or 10 years the last time they did that, because I think it was only once after. Yeah. Good.
I don't know. I think they're going to find, people's threshold of pain on how much they're willing to pay out for these things. Annual passes, parking, everything that went up. And here's the other thing that people don't know is when they do this kooky thing where they raise the ticket prices, usually other things go up. The merchandise starts to creep up. The candy in the shops and the parks, all of those things inside the park then start to creep up in price too. I think they're now charging for Dasani water $2.75, so that went up 25 cents already. So shirts will go up. Everything will just start going up in price. So
well, then on top of that, you have the seasonal increases of price too.
Yeah, and they've done this kind of late. October is kind of late for them. This is usually done in August and September. So I figure that, they're definitely trying to get it in before Christmas. Duh.
Yeah.
It's the busiest time of the year for them. So we'll see. We'll see if attendance goes up or down.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And how far can they increase things before people go, I can't afford this?
Yeah.
You have people saying, I can stay at Four Seasons. I can stay at Waldorf Astoria for the price I'm paying at a moderate resort.
Yeah. Or any of the ones on Hotel Boulevard. Yeah. Just stay on Hotel Boulevard, B Resort or, Wyndham or Hilton or any of those.
And some of those offer
great
awesome deals.
Yeah. Yeah. Better than Disney's deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see that. But I've figured it out based on, like I said, I'd have to spend $750. Valet is $25. I have to kind of think about it because it all depends. Like how many times do I think I'm going to be going and eating at the restaurants that are included in that?
Right.
So I still have to kind of weigh it out a little bit more, but that's just $150. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I do like that they do include alcohol with that, though. That is one, if you're somebody who as you know, I like to have a drink when I eat. So if I'm having pasta, I want a glass of red wine or, what have you. And it just is nice to get that little discount on top of it too, because alcohol at Disney adds up fast.
Yeah. Really fast. For a local person, it's a no-brainer. You just have to bite the bullet and do it. It's, it's the people that don't live here. And I guess, for $150 for somebody that doesn't live here, maybe that's not too bad. $175 for a Florida resident. Well, they're punishing us for living here. We've been punished an extra $25. And so I think the message you're sending us is don't eat here no more. Don't,
Either that, well, think if you're a Florida resident, but you have an annual pass holder, you're getting the annual pass holder rate.
Yeah.
So they're like, it's the message of if you're a Florida resident, you need to be an annual pass holder.
Yeah. I was listening.
Which they do offer you guys the ability. They offer you a lesser price.
Yeah.
And you've got the financing available on your annual passes, which I've never understood why. Why not offer that to everybody?
So I was listening to another podcast, and that's an interesting comment. So this person was saying, Disney's kind of recognized that they have an attendance issue. And the attendance issue is not that they can't get people to come. Too many people are coming. And there's not enough. They've built all of these hotels and DVCs to put people, but the parks can't handle the load of what the hotels have. So they have a large amount of people staying, not enough parks to put them in. I guess they made some kind of assumption that they'll do other things besides go to the parks, right? Or go to their parks, or go to Universal or SeaWorld or whatever. But maybe that's not happening.
But I think what it is they expanded all of the deluxe resorts to now have DVC.
Correct.
Well, you do that, they're making the assumption that with Disney Vacation Club, whenever I've done the little tours of it, they really focus on doing more than just the parks. Like, come, enjoy the experiences at the resort. Go horseback
the
riding.
Spa, the pool, the whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think those people aren't doing as much of that as they thought they would. And instead they're going to the park. They're not spending the time at the resort that they want those people to spend.
Right. And the other issue, the other issue that they created was giving people that monthly option. That's making more people buy the ticket because they go, wow, I can afford, $30 a month. That's not bad. I just eat one less, Taco Bell or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then I could afford that $8 increase. But if you take that option away, I would assume there's going to be a lot of people that cannot afford to lay out that kind of money. For a family of four, it's probably like $1,200. Nobody's going to lay out that kind of money. So with the monthly option,
more than that,
affordable.
Because it's now it's $650?
No, I think it's like $789 for like the Platinum Plus, I think.
Okay.
Ticket.
So say you go with the other one. I know for out of state, for me, if I were to, if I was not renewing,
resident,
is $750 for the just the park pass.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's for ages 3 and up.
Right.
Because there's not a difference between a child rate and an adult rate anymore.
Right.
They did away with all that. So you
so,
got a family of 4.
And I'll argue about that. I mean, what 3-year-old should be paying the same thing as an 18-year-old? That 3-year-old could barely remember that experience when they leave the park. That's not a child. That's not an adult. A 3-year-old is not an adult ticket.
It's it's not, and not just the memory part of it, but think of all the attractions you can't ride. And I think that should take into account. I think there should almost be an age/size. Like, if you're 10 years old, but, you're significantly shorter than all the other kids your age. Why should you, if you can't ride all these things that this 10-year-old can ride, why should you still have to pay that? I think they needed to have thought that out. Kind of like, child seats in the car. You have to be a certain height, weight, and then there's an age. Mm-hmm. I think it kind of works the same way.
Yeah. I know a friend of mine came down with their grandparent, and they cannot ride anything. They're wheelchair bound. They cannot be, taken out of the wheelchair. There's too many, things, for the breathing and whatever, for this person to be taken out. They would never survive in a, boat or whatever. So they wanted to know, well, how can they take their, this grandmother to the park if somebody would sit outside with them while the rest of the family rode something? Is there, a special ticket or whatever? So I called guest relations and I just explained the circumstance, and they're like, no, they have to pay a full ticket. I said, a full ticket for what? I said, she can't hear anything. She's partially blind. She needs something to breathe, and she's not going to go on anything. She's going to be sitting outside with, some family member to make sure she's not dead. And they're like, well, they can enjoy the entertainment. I said, maybe you didn't hear the part of they're partially blind and they're deaf, but they can't enjoy anything.
Yeah.
They're just going to be, they're in a vegetative state almost, Well, if they're coming into the park, I said, well, all right. I said, well, maybe somebody's going to have to stay in a hotel with this person then, unfortunately. So I never found out what they did. I don't think they came down. I think they canceled the trip.
There's some things that should be taken into consideration. And I know there's a lot of people that abuse the rules. And that's why Disney has done some of the things it has. But at the same time, then there's other people who really need something. Right.
And I'm sure they could have brought a note from a doctor and said, listen, this person cannot do anything.
But see, they won't take that into account.
I know.
Because they're not allowed to ask for it. So it's not worth anything. And
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's stop being a Debbie Downer. What else do we want to talk about?
Now it's on to our main entree.
Ooh.
On to Plancha and your experience at this special event. Now, you said there were, 10 people, right?
10 people. 8 of us. 2 of them were from Four Seasons.
Okay.
We don't want to count them. Well, maybe we can't count them. I guess we can't discount them. After they are the ones who invited you to this event.
Okay.
It was like a meet and greet for some of the media people in the local area to kind of introduce them to Plancha. It was the Plancha is not at the Four Seasons main facility. It's over at their golf course, Tranquillo, I believe it's the golf course. Used to be, oh gosh, I can't remember what Disney named that. Anyway, not important. It doesn't exist. But they're only open for lunch, from lunch to I think about 6 or maybe 6 p.m. I think 6 p.m.
Yeah, 11 to 6.
11 to 6. And they brought out a bunch of appetizers for sharing. My favorite on that is the eye tuna, the tuna poke. I guess they call that eye tuna with guacamole. So the raw tuna on top of this nice round bed of guacamole. I just scoop it onto my plate. It's delicious. It's good stuff.
It looks really good.
The empanadas are also delicious as an appetizer. And then they made up, I'll show this to the camera here. They made up this little menu. This is not the full-size menu. This is just for this media event with our choices of entrees. So they picked, some salad stuff, I think, for the ladies, and the steak things down at the bottom for the guys. There were only 3 guys at the whole event, which I thought was weird. Maybe not. I don't know. But what the guys did is we got one of each of the 3 meat items so we could all take pictures. We decided who was
that's
getting.
The way you go. You gotta have a picture of everything that you can,
And it was funny. Most of the women had the salads towards the top.
Did anybody get the pescado?
I think so. I think one of the women did.
Okay.
I think the vegan woman did. There was one woman there that was vegan. No, it's just carrot, bean, and tropical fruit salad.
Oh, it wasn't fish?
No.
I would have thought with a name like pescado it was fish.
Yeah, I think with an I it would be pescada. I think this is pescata. I don't know. I'm not Cuban-ish. But one thing I'm going to say this probably a lot about this place. This is like the hidden secret of Disney dining. If you want to get away from people and you want to have a nice, enjoyable lunch, this is the place to go. Because they have dining inside, they have dining outside, they have cigars for the guys, because it's a golf course kind of thing. They have a humidor with a huge selection of cigars. They have a great mixology program there. The bartenders are really well knowledgeable and make you know, we had some of those drinks up at Kappa. They'll do some of those crazy, drinks here too.
Nice.
Pedro, who is the executive chef there, really nice guy. He takes traditional Cuban dishes that his mom used to make for him, and he used to cook with his mom and his grandmother, and then turns them into these delicious things that are on the menu. The restaurant, too, was completely overhauled recently. Completely gutted, completely done. So he's got a whole new facility back there. And let me just, I want to bring up some things here that I took notes. So right now they have what they're calling their summer menu. And in the next couple of weeks, it's going to switch over to their winter menu. Okay. They changed the menu up based on the seasonal things that they can get locally. So they're using local ingredients or sourcing from local places. So the menu will change and it will become seasonal. Also coming up for them is they're going to do a Sunday brunch.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Gosh, I haven't done Sunday brunch in so long.
I know.
Oh, I need to do a Sunday brunch somewhere.
Yeah. I think this is going to be the place you're going to want to do a Sunday brunch. So that's going to be interesting. I'd like to see that. And then they're also participating in a Latin food and wine festival in October. And they didn't give us the complete details on that. So that'll be interesting, too. There's really nothing bad on this menu. There really isn't. Now, who had... Matt had the El Cubano, which is roasted pork, black forest ham, Swiss cheese, mustard, and house-made pickles. When they say house-made pickles, they mean they're house-made pickles. They make those pickles there. They don't make them, buy them and call them house-made pickles. They're actually made there.
That was one of the things when I went and I did the food blog forum, conference that they did, and Four Seasons hosted the reception. It was originally supposed to be at PB&G, but weather changed the plans for that. But we did get to sample the food and everything. Yeah, just house, like even their little mini sodas, which of course I always call pop, but their sodas were house made as well. And that's just those little touches like that you don't find elsewhere just takes the experience to a completely new level. Yeah.
I just recently also found out that they have their own bourbon that they actually go and barrel and age themselves. Wow. So that you can only get that. I think you can only get it at Kappa, I believe, right now. That may change, though. I had the Plancha burger, which is a mix of chorizo and beef patty. Honduras, I'm not sure what that is, and it doesn't matter because it tasted good. White cheddar cheese, lettuce, and heirloom tomatoes.
How is the mixture of the two meats blended together? Delicious.
It had a little, spice to it, but it was a good blend with the, the fat of the meat with the fat of the chorizo. It was delicious. I really enjoyed that. And then my friend Jason had the New York strip, which is, I don't know, had some kind of rice, I can't say, and chimichurri sauce. If you want to try to figure out what that rice says. Masaputi. Sorry.
Wow.
Wait, there you go. I have no idea what that is.
Mom Postillo.
Okay, there you go. What she said. And he said that his meat was delicious. It was, cooked to perfection. And, salad is salad. I wouldn't go to Plancha for salad. You get salad anyway. Don't go there for salad. Get something. Get some food. some kind of meat.
Unless you're vegetarian, then of course,
Unless you're vegetarian, and then you're stuck having a salad. And I'm sorry to hear that. I've been there, done that. And I'm sorry to hear that. What else do they have? There is a private room if you want to have a private party. There is seating outside. If you want to sit outside, you can do that. There's a deer that walks the path. They actually have a name for it. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. But you can actually go up to this deer and feed it. It's like gotten so used to people. Yeah.
Oh, I want to feed the deer.
Yeah, he walks. There's a walkway from the hotel to like Plancha, and he'll come out of the woods and he'll just kind of like walk the pathway. So if you want to see a deer up close,
just as long as they don't turn them into venison.
I can't guarantee that.
No,
I can't guarantee that. The other, you can't do it here, but the other, if you actually go to the Four Seasons, the other nice thing is you can drive through, the Golden Oaks area. So you get that fun experience. But we're going to Kappa, right?
Yes, we are.
And we've been to Ravello.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
I love that place.
Of course, growing up in the north, you have a lot of Italian transplants, and so of course, over time, dishes do, they trying to think of the right word that I want to use. They change, but I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. But they're not quite exactly what they were back when the family was in Italy, and I've been to Italy. I'll tell you, the food in the north growing up from, where Italians were and having, that kind of food. And then going to Italy, it still doesn't compare. The food in Italy is fantastic.
Yeah.
And now they had pizzas on the menu, right? I'm not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got the.
I thought so. I need to try. I have got to try one of their pizzas because right after I had been to Italy is when Via Napoli opened. And I was like, oh my gosh, this pizza is just like it was in Italy. Now the pizza's changed some.
Right.
Since that restaurant opened. So I have to try that next time. But I'll say the food, Fabrizio, the food that he puts out, so amazing, and it's as good as what I had in Italy, if not better. I mean, he's
got a good staff there.
It's just, if you've got to go there. It's one of those places people have to go. They have to try. So considering what an amazing experience I had, and of course I did all the half pastas.
Right.
If you remember, so I could order even more food.
Right.
So we had like the equivalent to like 3 people, 3 entrees worth of food, but it was well worth it. The food was really good, and I can't wait. Cannot wait for Kappa.
Yeah. So let's tell you all the places you can eat there. There's Plancha at the golf course, which is open for lunch. They have a quick service called Lickety Split. And don't discount this place. They have some of the best coffee I've tasted in a long time. Awesome pastries, Italian pastries, and gelato. So don't discount Lickety Split.
Now I do know they're about to do they're doing a barista bootcamp.
Barista, yes. Yeah, I'm really thinking about going to that. And that night, I'm thinking, how much coffee can I drink at night and still go to bed? 2 hours of drinking coffee. Will I be able to sleep that night? I am thinking about that. And then there's Ravello, which is they call it the Italian Modern Kitchen, and they're open, I believe, just for lunch. No, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I think on some breakfasts they do characters. They have Goofy and his pals. And I believe that breakfast with characters is cheaper than Disney's breakfast with characters. So, yeah, check that out. And then the really nice place is Kappa up on the 17th floor. The 17th floor is the entire floor is for the restaurant. And just below that is the penthouse, rooms. But from up there, you can see Wishes, and actually you can see all fireworks. You can see Wishes, Epcot, Illuminations, and then if Studios is doing something, you can see that from up there as well.
It is amazing view from up there.
It is really crazy. And you don't need to be staying there. All you have to do is make a reservation at any of these places, and you just, I don't think Plancha you even have to make a reservation. I think you can call them and tell them you're coming, but I really don't think they care. There's always room there. But Ravello and Kappa, you probably want to make a reservation because they do, fill up pretty quickly. I love them. I love everything they do there. One of my favorite Disney, non-Disney place to go on property.
It's
right.
Yeah. I told you I'm going to be doing a book with all that stuff in it because there's so many great places
that
people just don't know about because everybody goes to the Disney website and they focus on, mainly the parks and then the hotels and then from there downtown Disney. But not all these other places that are on Disney property that offer amazing cuisine. And They have not disappointed me yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a few more questions about Plancha.
Go ahead. Okay.
The drink that you had, what was that?
That was a green tea.
Okay.
Yeah. Non-alcoholic green tea.
Okay.
There's nothing fancy in that tea. I don't think anybody had a drink. Because a lot of people were, I think everybody was going to the Disney Springs thing and didn't want to get loaded before going to that. So I don't think anybody had an alcoholic beverage.
See, I can never pass up having something that pairs well with it.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to get loaded, but I want a nice drink with whatever I have.
Right.
I think that's just from traveling to too many European countries where everybody has a drink with their meal.
Yeah, that's true.
I've kind of picked up on that kind of.
Yeah, I hear you.
Part of their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now they had on their menu that they have vinegars to take home. Did you try any of the vinegars? No, they didn't give us a sample of those. I'm just curious about the spicy one.
Yeah. I bet I could get Chris, the manager, to send us some.
Oh.
I probably. It was funny because Chris, the manager, came out. There was the table of us, and first when I came in, he noticed me and he came over and said hello. But when he came over to talk to the table and say, "Hey, Mr. Casanova, how are you?" I've been there 5 times already. He's like, he knows me by name. Then when the chef came out, Pedro came to tell us all about the stuff. The first thing he does, "Hey, Mr. Casanova, how are you?" So everybody's looking at me "Hey, why does everybody know this?" So it was fun. It's fun, but I don't know. We should try them. See what happens.
Now, the desserts that were offered. Can you tell me a little bit about those?
Yeah, what did we? They had a bunch of them. Oh my God, I can't remember what they were, which was good. One of them was a flan, and what else did they have? I think they had a key lime something.
Okay.
Something with green, I remember.
I just need to zoom in. Ooh.
Yeah.
That much. Did you have the pina coconut gelato with passion fruit? That's one of the other ones.
Yes. Yeah. So they brought kind of like the
Okay, so they had all four. So the guava roll with the crema de
we
queso,
took little bites of
the
all the
leches with
desserts.
the dulce de leche.
Yeah.
The dulce pearls. That one was the best one.
That was probably the best one. Yes. Yeah.
And then the flan that you mentioned, the traditional flan with the
what else was on there?
Kanya sugar caramel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Pedro's got a pastry chef back there too.
That's one thing I think would be so much fun is to get a tour of the kitchen.
Maybe the next time I go back there.
See them, yeah.
Well, Ravello and Kappa, you can see them.
You can see there.
You don't have to. Yeah. PB&G, you can see their kitchen too. But I've been in that kitchen too, the PB&G. They kind of got away from the smoking thing at PB&G. Yeah. They were trying, oh my God, what's his name? The chef there. Not Tim. Tim's at Kappa. Oh, jeez. I can't remember his name. He had two sides of his menu. There was homage, which was a tribute to all the kind of smoked barbecue stuff, and then treason, which was this his twisted version on barbecued stuff. So he had two different sides, but it was too big and too rich for poolside kind of lunch. So they kind of dumbed it down to sandwiches like lobster rolls and burgers and things, and salads.
That's a shame.
I don't know. I like the old menu. I said that too. Yeah, I said that. I like the old. So maybe they'll bring some. Maybe for the winter, maybe they'll bring that back when less people are using the pool. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if
maybe
it's
another
too
reason
much
for me
a
to go
lot of
there
people who
and
are
check it out in
traveling,
the
because I
winter.
mean, in the South, I think you can never go wrong with barbecue. It's kind of an all year long kind of thing here, but I guess it also depends on in people's mind when they think of eating barbecue. So it'd be nice to have that brought back.
Right. Yeah. But
that's true.
Yeah, but you'll be there, so you'll get to try it all, and then come back and tell us.
To eat all the meals in each of the restaurants. Go, I'm going to eat this meal and this meal. Knock all the meals out. Oh no, not there.
Well, you're there for a weekend, right?
I'll be at Waldorf. I wish I was at Four Seasons for some nights.
Okay. Oh, okay.
At some point, I'm going to have to stay
nights
there.
Or whatever. You certainly could do it in 2 nights. They do have discounts sometimes.
Maybe January. Maybe in January they'll have something.
I should too. I know. Yeah, I know they just had a Florida resident rate.
I need a temporary place.
The end of October,
so I can get a Florida driver's license and say, I'm in Florida. I temporarily live with
Tony. Here's my address.
Okay, this time I do have to see the archives.
Yeah,
though.
You have to tell them temporarily.
That's a must do this time, because we always say we're going to do it.
All right,
but I want to be there.
That's just the video archive.
That's Seinfeld.
There's a lot
right
of Seinfeld right here. See all the Seinfeld on the shelf right here.
That's not Disney then.
Yeah. Yeah.
A place that I can't see.
No, actually, Disney is on.
That's okay. Because I'm gonna be there soon enough to check.
I can move it if you have actually.
So overall, you're saying people should definitely do Plancha.
Yeah. Best place for lunch to get away from the crowds. It's air conditioned and there's not a lot of crowds. You know, I think you can valet park. I think I saw somebody valet park. I think it's free too. The parking lot's really not that far from the front door.
Now, I'm
looking
at the pictures.
You have to have somebody park your car.
All the stuff that we're talking about is going to be on diningatdisney.com. I mean, I'm going to take your notes and your photos and re-listen to our discussion and write up a post all about this. Everybody will be able to see, like, firsthand really what we're talking about. But as far as the dining room, it looks like it's a combination of, like, rich dark woods with, like, white. Is it white ceilings?
Yes. Yeah, white ceiling. Yeah. There's some leather chairs right in the middle of the room near the bar too. They have probably 60-inch televisions.
So it's kind of set up to where they've got what, like a retail shop.
Sports. You can do that.
Then an area where people can kind of relax and watch sports on TV, and then the restaurant. Yeah. Right. And then they have two locker rooms, you know, for the guys that, you know, golf. You can actually get a locker there too. They used to have names on. The funny story is they just redid the locker rooms. Up until recent, Dick Nunes, who helped build Walt Disney World, there was a locker with his name on it, Dick Nunes. I think I have an old picture somewhere. Maybe I can dig up and send it to you. But they recently redid them, and they took off his name. That country club that is now Plancha used to be very popular for the Eisner era people. That's where they used to have meetings on property because guests couldn't go there, you know, easily, and nobody knew about it. So that's kind of where they used to have meetings. It wasn't a restaurant; it was just a bar. And Mike, who works at the Top of the World, you know, I'm telling his story. This is really his story. He used to work there, and you know, one day Dick Nunes said to Mike, "Hey," he was a little inebriated. He had many a cocktail. Said to Mike, "Hey, Mike, I'm going to turn that castle pink one day. You just watch." And Mike said, "Yeah, sure, Mr. Nunes, right away." So the next week, Mike was driving to work. So I remember the Pink Castle. It was not a good idea.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance, go to Top of the World, and there's a bartender up there, Mike, who will tell you stories that were very interesting. Very interesting. It's cast members like that make the experience fun.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, you have some of the best cast members and that have those jobs that have been there for a long time. Yeah. And part of the reason they're best is because they love what they do so much that they're not going anywhere. You know, they love to talk to people, and bartenders always hear crazy stories. Yeah. They're the eyes and ears of the restaurant usually. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, back when I waited tables, I had customers that would tell me some crazy stories, but I'll tell you, whenever I worked in the bar and was a cocktail waitress, the stuff because those people, they don't quite sit as long as typically the people who are sitting around the bar, but very close. I mean, there's maybe, you know, many of them will sit there for 3 hours. Yeah. And so they'll tell you stuff that you never wanted to know about people, you know? Right. It's funny. We just spoke to a woman last night who worked for Michael Eisner. She was Disney's corporate synergy manager or director, Laura Santoli. So you have to go check out her book and listen to this podcast. And I think she knows where a lot of the bodies are buried. I have a feeling. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Wow. So she had direct interaction with Michael Eisner and Frank Wells on many, many, many occasions. Yeah. And Jack Lindquist, who is the marketing guy for Disney too. So she's got good stories. You got to go read her book. Yeah. Wow. So I've got a small collection of some Disney books I still have yet to read, but yeah. I mean, there's so many great books out there of people who've worked for Disney, whether it be in the creative department or in the corporate department, that, you know, I think offer some great information if you're, when it comes
I love
to
hearing their
work
stories.
or creativity or what have you.
Yeah, they got a lot of good stories, and I like hearing them. So, all right. Anything else we want to chat?
I think that covers everything having to do with Plancha and Four Seasons, at least right now. And I'm going to guess we should do for our dessert, we should do tips that have to do with Four Seasons, since that's been our big thing. And I guess we could just say your tip for dessert would probably be to go to Plancha because it's a hidden gem. Yeah,
it definitely is. And I'm not even saying go to any place at Four Seasons. It's a hidden gem. I mean, Lickety Split for the gelato. If you don't go to Plancha for lunch and then go to Lickety Split for dessert. It's a win-win. I mean, you have to get in your car and you could walk probably. There's a walkway. You can walk. You can walk there, but I would do that. And then you can kill two birds with one stone.
That's true. Knock out two places.
Yeah. And even do the reverse. Go to PB&G for lunch and then go to Lickety Split for gelato. Get a nice big cup of coffee or bobolini or gelato or whatever. That's my just go to Four Seasons. That's my tip.
And you know what? You gave so many great tips having to do with Four Seasons, since you technically should be like the mayor of Four Seasons when it comes to Foursquare and Swarm, because
I probably should be.
you visit the resort enough.
Yeah, I do.
That's why I can't go there without you. Since you, as many times as you've been, what's good and all about the stuff on the menu. I feel like I need you there to guide me in the right direction, Tony.
Yeah. When you walk into Plancha and the manager and the chef know you by name, you got a problem. I'm just saying. It's a good problem, I think, but I have a problem. Yeah.
It's okay. There could be many, many worse problems you could have.
That's true. That's true.
I'd be happy if that was my problem, that I dined at Four Seasons or I dined anywhere at Disney World too much.
Yeah. There are a lot of restaurants that people know my name.
That's what happens when you live just minutes away.
That's also true. I mean, there are places.
And see, that's why you could buy other people. You make your money back over and over and over. I would say you've got to make the money back 10 times over with Tables in Wonderland.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
Oh yeah. I probably owe them money.
I'm just talking about food.
Oh yeah. I'm saying if they ever were to give you a report at the end of the year, I'd probably cry. I'd probably go, all right, I can't go out to eat there anymore.
I just know when I go back, when I'm doing my taxes and I'm, doing the, because, the sales tax deduction and I'm adding up all my receipts for the taxes from Disney.
Right.
And I'm looking at that going, oh yeah, that's a lot of money. I don't really need to be thinking about how much that spent,
I can imagine. It's I don't even want to know. Just form it out, let somebody else do it. You don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so since that wraps up our meal for today, Tony, I'm going to let you tell everybody where to find you.
Oh, gosh. You can find me at DisneyByTheNumbers.com. That is my website, which is facts all about Disney. Not just Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Parks, Disney Cruise, Disney, whatever. And the other place you can find me is the Disney Parks Podcast, where me and my partner in crime, John, Park Hopper John, talk about everything to do with Disney parks. So that's all of the parks, all in one podcast. So those are the two places you can find me.
Okay, and they can follow you on social media too, right?
They can follow me if you have to.
They should.
You can follow me on I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Most places are at DBTN. I think you can find me, and you can find the podcast at Disney Podcaster. We're on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page there where you can find the Disney Parks Podcast. Yep.
And I have to congratulate you because you have just become an author.
I did. I actually
published your first book.
I wrote a pamphlet. I wrote a very small pamphlet, a book. Yep, you can find info on that at DisneyByTheNumbers.com as well. There's info about the book, and you can purchase it from Amazon. Bring it to any of the meets, and I'll sign it for you right now. I'm working on a way that we can sign them and send them, but that's a whole nother process.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I know that's not an easy one to have done. So
I wish Amazon would just do it. You know, let me sign some stuff and send it to them, and they can send them out. They're not that nice.
No, they're like, hey, you can buy all your books from us, and then you can ship them to everybody yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm having the publisher send me a stack of them so I can keep them, and then I'll probably just set up a store on my site where I can send them, send them out. It is what it is.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So, yeah, but it's good. Well, good stuff.
And as far as Dining at Disney, you can find that at diningatdisney.com. You can read all of the articles that Jay, myself, all those things that we write. And of course, I now have a new writer.
I saw
Brandy.
that. I saw that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Is she your West Coast?
She is West Coast, and she does run Disney. Ooh. As well as she does some of the Disney cruises too. So we're very excited to have her on board for that.
Yeah. Somebody gave me a good tip about I have not been on a Disney cruise, but the tip they gave me is when you go, just order one of everything because it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. On cruises?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can always do that.
I would do that just to take the picture.
Now, see, what I do is I watch what everybody around me orders. Mm-hmm. And then I order one of the dishes that I wanted to order, but nobody else has. Mm-hmm. And I always order 2 appetizers and 2 desserts.
Right.
And when I did do the Disney cruise, because I've done one and it was training.
Right.
And the other agents were looking at me like I was a little crazy. Like, why is this little person ordering all this food? And I'm like, see, I got to get the pictures and I got to try it.
Yeah, right.
It's all included.
I know. Just take a bite and go, I'm done with that. Get that out of here.
We should do that. We should do a Disney cruise.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been talking about doing one with the podcast and, having some, special guests and, people come on and do talks and things like that. So
it's a lot of fun. And, for people who don't have little ones, mm-hmm. There's enough places on the ship that they have that are set aside adults only.
Right.
That really you see less kids. I noticed less kids on the cruise mm-hmm. than I did when I've done Carnival and Royal Caribbean because the kids programs are so awesome. The kids want to do that, and it gives the parents time to go and hang out at the adult only pool.
Right.
And yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah. Maybe we should plan one together, do a whole big podcast cruise.
Hey, I'm all for that idea.
Maybe a Saucer Radio Disney Parks podcast cruise.
We need to discuss this.
Yep.
This is further discussion later this month, Tony.
All right. I know where to find you later this month.
That's true. No, you'll just track me down.
Yep.
Well, Dining at Disney is brought to you guys by Weeby Geeks Network. So please download, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. We would love a 5-star rating and review. That makes us smile, makes us happy. And if you'd like to help us out, like Tony mentioned, you can buy Tony's book. But for Dining at Disney, you can pick up the Dining at Disney books. I've got one for Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. There's also the Epcot Dining Guide you can pick up. And then shop our affiliate links like the Disney Store, Garden Grocers, and Jelly Belly. So
yeah, that's a good book that you have for the Epcot Food and Wine. They should go out and get that. If you're coming down, it's probably good to have. They can get a PDF for that, right?
It is, yeah. I'm only doing PDF because it's something you can carry. I mean, like my iPhone.
That's perfect to put on this.
It is. And you can walk through, and I've got links to some of the stuff so you can touch it and go to a link. And I like things that are so easy to carry with you. Because I was like, if I had a book printed, nobody wants to lug around a big book like that anymore.
They want to lug this one around, Kristen.
But see, they're not going to need to do that. That's going to be like the, flying down. You got a book to read. Right. This is going to be you're sitting and relaxing on the beach by the pool. You're going to open up this book. You're going to read and go, who would have thought that?
Yeah.
Or you can make fun games out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another good thing. Yeah.
Lots of things they can do with your book, Tony.
Well, you'll have to check it all out.
They will. And since that's all for today, thanks for listening.